Okay, I want you to picture a scenario and be honest because I think every single person listening, and definitely us, has been here. You decide, all right, today is the day I'm going to center myself.
You carve out the time, maybe 20 minutes.
Right. You sit down to meditate, or maybe you're settling in for a Reiki self-practice.
You've got the cushion set up, the lighting is dim, maybe a little incense burning. The vibe is perfect.
Exactly. You get physically comfortable, your posture is great, your hands are in position, you are ready for Zen, but
Uh-oh.
your brain has apparently booked a flight to a completely different continent. It is AWOL.
Oh, absolutely. I know that feeling intimately. The body is present, sitting like a statue on the cushion, but the mind is, well, it's planning exactly what you need for taco night.
Or it's replaying that awkward thing you said to a coworker 3 years ago.
Yes. Or worrying about an email you didn't send. It's the monkey mind in full effect.
Right. And usually you catch yourself maybe 5 or 10 minutes in and you think, man, I am terrible at this. I have zero focus. It feels like a distinct failure.
Like you're just not cut out for spiritual practice.
But today, we're going to flip that script entirely. We're unpacking a really fascinating solution to this scattered mind problem. And here's the kicker. It doesn't come from a modern productivity hack or some new app,
It comes from 12th century Japan.
which is not the first place you'd look.
And this is where the deep dive gets really interesting because the solution isn't about forcing yourself to focus harder. It's not about clearing your mind through sheer willpower. It's actually about reading poetry.
Which sounds completely counterintuitive, I see. I'm distracted, so let me add more words to my brain.
You'd think so. But the way this works is mechanically fascinating.
It really is. We are diving into some deep insights from Bronwen Logan today. For anyone who isn't familiar, she's a massive authority in this space, a leading voice in the system of Reiki, co-founder of the International House of Reiki.
She's incredible at connecting the historical dots to our modern struggles.
She really is. And she wrote this breakdown of how ancient Japanese poetry, specifically Waka poetry, is actually a high-level spiritual tool. It's not just art, it's utility.
Bronwen really looks at how these poems connect to what's called the three diamonds of energy. It's a framework that might completely change how you view those moments when your mind wanders.
So the big question we're tackling is this. How can reading a short poem about, say, cherry blossoms actually serve as a rigorous tool to integrate your body, mind, and breath? Because honestly, I usually just think of poetry as something pretty to read, not a piece of spiritual technology.
Well, it's definitely more than just pretty words. In the context of Japanese esoteric practice, it is a technology. And to understand why, we have to meet our guide for this deep dive.
My name's Saigyo.
Exactly, Saigyo.
He is such a compelling figure. He lived from 1118 to 1190. But the thing that really stuck out to me is his resume. I mean, he wasn't born a monk.
No, quite the opposite. He started as an elite samurai. His name was Sato Norigikyo. He was part of the Imperial Guard protecting the emperor. This guy was in the thick of it.
So, power, status, skilled in archery and horseback riding. He was at the center of the political world in Kyoto.
And then, at age 22, which is incredibly young, he just walked away.
He just dropped everything, left the samurai life, his family, the court, to become a Buddhist monk and a wanderer.
He spent the rest of his life traveling through nature, living in simple huts, and writing poetry.
I mean, talk about a radical career pivot.
Yeah.
But what I find so comforting about his story and why Bronwen focuses on him is that even though he did all that, he still dealt with the exact same distracted brain that we do.
That is the key takeaway. He wasn't some kind of spiritual robot. Bronwen Logan highlights a specific Waka poem he wrote about Mount Yoshino, which is famous for its cherry blossoms.
Just a stunning place.
And this poem, it just encapsulates the whole struggle. Saigyo wrote, "Since the day I saw the treetop blossoms of Mount Yoshino, my heart has not stayed with my body at all."
I want to read that again because it's just so good. Since the day I saw the treetop blossoms of Mount Yoshino, my heart has not started with my body at all. Wow. That hits hard.
It does. It's so vulnerable.
It's the classic meditation struggle. You're sitting there physically, you're in the room, that's your body, but your heart is off chasing something else.
In his case, cherry blossoms. In our case, maybe it's a new car or a relationship or just dinner.
Right.
Precisely. And Bronwen points out that Saigyo isn't just being poetic here. He's describing a very specific spiritual disconnect. To really get it, we have to unpack two Japanese terms.
Okay.
Those terms are Kokoro and Mi.
Okay, let's dig into these. Kokoro and Mi. I've heard Kokoro translated as heart before, but it's more than that, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
In English, we tend to separate things. Here is the brain, here is the heart. But Kokoro is all of it. It's your spirit, your emotional self, your intentions, your mind, your consciousness. It's the seat of who you are inside.
So if it's the driver of the vehicle,
I like that analogy. Kokoro is the driver.
then what is me?
Me is the physical body. It's your embodied existence. It's the vehicle itself, the vessel.
So when Saigyo says his heart hasn't stayed with his body, he's saying his Kokoro and his me have basically filed for divorce.
In a manner of speaking, yes, he's describing a split. His me, his body, is on the path of a monk. He's physically walking the mountains, wearing the robes. But his Kokoro, his consciousness,
It's somewhere else entirely.
completely captivated by the cherry blossom.
And that is just so relatable. You know, you're physically present in a meeting, you're nodding, you're looking at the PowerPoint, that's your me doing what it's supposed to do.
But your Kokoro is wondering if you left the oven on, the driver has jumped out of the moving car.
Exactly. And Saigyo is captivated by blossoms, beautiful things. And usually when we feel that, we judge ourselves. We think, I'm bad at this.
I need to focus harder.
Hmm.
But Saigyo just wrote a poem about it.
Well.
And he didn't just stop there. There's a second poem Bronwen mentions that digs even deeper.
This is the one about frustration.
It is. He writes, "Why should my heart remain stained by blossoms when I thought I had tossed all that away?"
That word stained, that's what jumped out at me. Stained by blossoms. We think of blossoms as pure, beautiful things.
But stained implies attachment. Remember, in his monkhood, he was supposed to have renounced worldly attachments. He thought he had tossed all that away.
And yet this beautiful worldly thing is still coloring his clear intent. It's a distraction.
Exactly. It's not that the blossoms are bad. It's that his obsession with them is clouding his mind. In Buddhism, attachment to anything, even something beautiful, creates suffering because it pulls you out of the present moment.
It creates a stain on the clear mirror of the mind.
That's a perfect way to put it. The reflection of the blossoms is stuck to the mirror, preventing him from seeing anything else.
It's like he's saying, I quit my job, I became a monk, I did the hard part. Why am I still obsessing over pretty trees?
It really highlights that internal struggle. You can change your outer circumstances, sit on the cushion, light the incense, but that doesn't mean your Kokoro automatically behaves.
I find that incredibly validating. If a legendary samurai monk couldn't stop his mind from wandering, maybe I shouldn't beat myself up for thinking about my grocery list.
That is exactly the point Bronwen is making. It validates the difficulty of the practice. But here's where we pivot to the solution. It's about how reciting the poem helps fix the problem.
Right. We need a way back. This brings us to the core technical concept, the 3 diamonds.
In Japanese, it's called senmitsu. It translates to the 3 mysteries, but we often call them the 3 diamonds. They correspond to earth, heaven, and humanness. Or, more simply,
Body, mind, and breath.
body, mind, and breath, exactly.
Okay, so ideally, in a perfect state of focus, these 3 are working together.
Ideally, yes. When we are fully integrated, body, mind, and breath move as one. That's the state of flow or deep meditation. But as we just established with Saigyo, usually they operate separately.
For sure. The body sits, that's the mind wanders, the Kokoro, and the breath just happens automatically on autopilot.
They're disconnected. So Bronwen's core argument, and this is the key takeaway, is that Waka poetry is a tool specifically designed to force these 3 diamonds to align.
A forcing function for spiritual alignment. How does that work mechanically?
Well, think about reciting a Waka poem out loud. First, your body, your me, is involved. You are sitting there holding the posture. You have to engage your diaphragm to speak.
Okay, check. Body is present.
Second, your mind, your Kokoro, has to engage. You can't just mumble it. Waka has a 5-7-5-7-7 syllable structure. It has rhythm, specific imagery. Your mind has to process the words.
So the mind is tethered to the words. It can't run off to the grocery list because it's busy with the poem.
Exactly. It occupies the monkey mind. And third, and this is crucial, the breath. You are using your voice and your breath to sound out the syllable. So you have body sitting, mind focusing on meaning, and breath producing sound.
You literally cannot recite the poem mindfully without bringing the 3 diamonds together.
You can't.
I love that. It's essentially a multitasking hack. It jams the signal of distraction.
Precisely. It bridges the gap. Seichu's poem about his mind wandering is, ironically, the tool that brings his mind back.
That is a fascinating paradox. He writes a poem about being distracted, and reciting the poem cures the distraction.
It's brilliant. And this leads to a massive aha moment. We tend to read Seichu's lines as a confession of failure. Like he's admitting he's a bad monk.
Yeah, that's how I read it initially, like a diary entry. Dear diary, Messed up again today. Still thinking about trees.
But Bronwen argues that the palm is the practice. By noticing the gap between his kokoro and his knees, Saigyo is actually doing the work. He is naming the gap.
Naming the gap. I like that. So the moment you realize you're distracted, you aren't failing, you're waking up.
Yes. Think about it. If you were truly lost, you would know you were distracted. The moment you say, hey, wait, my heart is chasing blossoms, you have stepped back into awareness.
The poem captures that moment of waking up.
It does.
This connects really well to the Reiki precepts, doesn't it? They always start with that specific phrase.
For today only, gyodeko wo.
Right. For today only. I've always thought that was just about taking it one day at a time.
It is, but on a deeper level, it acknowledges that integration isn't a permanent state. You don't achieve enlightenment on a Tuesday, and then you're good for life.
That would be nice, though. Done. Check that box. I am now Zen.
It would be very convenient.
Yeah.
But the system of Reiki teaches that it is a moment-by-moment practice. Kyudakawa. Just for this moment. Saigyo's poetry reflects that. He's saying, right now, my heart is stained. And dealing with that is the practice.
And this explains something I was surprised to learn. Mikao Usui, the founder of Reiki, included a massive amount of poetry in his teachings.
He did. Over 125 Waka poems, mostly written by the Meiji Emperor.
125. That is a significant curriculum. That's not just a recommended reading list.
It is fundamental, and for a long time, some Western practitioners just thought, oh, maybe he just liked poetry. But based on Bronwen's analysis, these weren't just decorations, they were tools.
He gave them to students to polish the three diamonds.
He knew students would get scattered, because humans get scattered. And he gave them these poems as the method to bring body, mind, and breath back to oneness.
That changes the whole vibe of a Reiki class. It's not just passive, it makes the practice active.
You are engaging with the energy, not just waiting for it to happen to you.
So let's bring this down to a practical level for you listening. Say you're convinced. You're sitting there feeling scattered. Your Kokoro is halfway to Hawaii. How do you actually apply this?
Bronwen gives some great advice on this. She suggests using the poem, or gyosei as they're called, as a mirror. You don't just read it and move on. You let it reflect your internal state.
She lists some diagnostic questions to ask yourself.
Right. As you recite, ask yourself, where does my kokoro go? And referencing Saigyo's struggle, what remains stained in my heart?
What remains stained in my heart? That is a heavy question.
It sounds it, but it's not meant to be judgmental. It's investigative. It's curiosity. It asks you to look at what you are clinging to. Is it worry? Is it anger? Is it excitement?
Don't judge it, just see it.
Exactly. If you can see the stain, you can acknowledge it. It's a difference between having dirt on your face and not knowing it versus looking in a mirror and seeing it.
Once you see it, you can clean it. And speaking of cleaning, there's one more quote that I think is the perfect capstone to this. It's from the Meiji Emperor.
Ah, yes. The one about the crystal ball. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah. He wrote, "Even a crystal ball without a scratch can lose shine in the dust."
Which basically means nobody is perfect.
It's such a relief to hear that. You can be a crystal ball without a scratch, a good person, a dedicated practitioner, but you're still going to get dusty.
Life is dusty. The world is full of distractions, stress, noise. The dust is inevitable. The practice isn't about preventing the dust from ever falling. That's impossible.
The practice is simply the act of wiping the dust away.
And the poetry is the cloth.
That's a perfect way to end it.
Reciting the waka is the polishing cloth. You wipe the dust away, moment by moment, and then 10 minutes later, you might get dusty again. So you polish again.
That makes the whole idea of spiritual practice feel so much more manageable. It's not about being a statue that never gets dirty. It's just about having a cleaning routine.
And realizing that feeling scattered isn't a sign that you are broken. It's just a sign that it's time to polish.
I think that is the most valuable thing to take away. So, to recap, if you sit down to meditate and your brain immediately runs off to plan your weekend, you are not a failure.
Not at all. You're just experiencing the natural separation between your Meiji and your Kokoro.
And we learned from Saigyo that even the pros struggle with this. He was stained by the beauty of blossoms.
And instead of fighting that distraction, we can use Waka poetry to bridge the gap. By engaging the voice, the mind, and the body, we pull the three diamonds back into alignment.
It's a multitasking hack for the soul. And remember, Mikao Usui didn't put those 125 poems in the Reiki system for fun. They are the tools to help us wipe the dust off our crystal ball.
Precisely. It's a practical toolkit for mindfulness.
So, here's a final thought I want to leave you with. We often think the goal of meditation is to empty the mind. total silence.
A blank slate.
Right. But Saigyo shows us something different. He didn't empty his mind of the blossoms. He wrote about them. He engaged with them.
That's a great point. He didn't suppress the thought, he transformed it into art and practice. He used the distraction as the fuel.
So, if a 12th century monk couldn't stop his mind from wandering, maybe we should stop trying to empty our minds and start trying to align them instead. Maybe the goal isn't silence, but finding the right words to anchor us.
Beautifully put. The word can be the anchor that holds the Kokoro in place.
So, next time you feel scattered, don't just sit there in frustration. Find a poem, read it out loud, see where your Kokoro goes.
And enjoy the process of polishing.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye, everyone.